Hello, my name is Maple, and these are my partners.
I'm Willow.
I'm Oak.
I'm Elm.
I'm Dogwood.
And trees are the answer. Climate change is a big issue globally and in our community today. What is climate change, you may ask? Well, climate change is an alteration in global and regional climate patterns. There are several factors, like the burning of fossil fuels like coal and gas. These are dumping greenhouse gases into the atmosphere. The increase of global warming and releasing these greenhouse gases will trap heat close to the earth. This will cause sea levels to rise, putting low-lying towns at risk. This must change. Climate change has been a problem for a long time. People just think that somebody else is going to fix it somewhere else. It's such a big problem, what can I do to make a difference? Well, this mentality is not going to work. What can people actually do? Do you breathe? 'Cause I breathe. And for that, we need to thank a tree.
You're welcome.
We have a mutualistic relationship with trees that allows us to have enough oxygen to breathe. This also means that with climate change across land and sea, every tree is a good tree. 78% of greenhouse gases are made of carbon dioxide. This means that trees can help contribute to the solution. We have decided to focus on planting more trees. Trees are good for an abundance of things. For example, one study by Columbia University, they found out that for every 343 trees in kilometers squared, the asthma rates in young children decrease by 25%. We are going to focus on tree planting.
The lack of trees in our community is a problem. Our team had a meeting with Township to discuss this issue. We realized that Township isn't really doing anything about this. They received a grant, but they want to focus on storm water management. According to a study by South Nathan Conservation in October 2016, our township doesn't have enough trees to cover the area. We are below the requirement for trees in our area by 30 to 40%. In our community, planting more trees would have many benefits. The first is windbreaks. Having windbreaks would decrease the cost in salt used on the roads in the winter season, and it would decrease the cost of snow removal because the snowplows wouldn't need to plow as frequently. Less snowplows and salt trucks on the road lead to fewer emission of carbon dioxide. Windbreaks will also increase the fertility of soil in the farmers' fields, as well as reduce soil erosion. Studies that have been done previously show that the first 1.5 meters of crops will not grow well, but after that small distance they will flourish. These windbreaks will also increase the local number of pollinators and provide them a habitat along with other wildlife. Planting trees along riparian zones will reduce the erosion from flooding of creeks, which is a big problem in our area. Trees along the riparian zones will also prevent fertilizers from running into the water. For all these reasons, we decided to take action and raise awareness.
To begin, we would first need to spread the word about these trees. For example, the Ontario government had attempted to plant 50 million trees by 2020. This project unfortunately failed because not many landowners knew about it. The trees costed about 15 cents each to plant, and there were certainly enough to be planted. The Forest Ontario had even agreed to plant your trees for you and watch over them for years after they were planted to ensure their protection. The only catch is that these trees had to be in the ground for a mandatory of 15 years. This ensured that the trees could ripe from their full benefits. Therefore, in our community, we initiated a similar project where the government would sell trees for small amounts of money or even give them away for anyone who was willing to participate. We would also conduct a study of our own by planting some trees as windbreaks in designated areas. We would monitor these areas and determine how much money we would save from the reduction of snow and plow services in the community. We would utilize these statistics to encourage other farmers to do something similar. From there, we would hope to get everyone on board with this tree initiative. The government should also be willing to give these trees at reduced prices to anyone who wishes to plant a tree, and not just people who are wishing to plant bulk amounts.
Mass production of crops such as soybeans and corn has led farmers to use bigger and bigger equipment, which means bigger and bigger fields. So trees and fence lines have been cut down. But farmers are starting to recognize that a good windbreak has to be effective with minimal interference but still be financially worthwhile. Do you have a favorite tree? Most people do. From their childhood, a tree that they remember, a favorite place to sit, or a great view. People love trees. So not only do we want extra trees at windbreaks and tree plantings, we want all people to have access to small trees for planting in their yards or property.
Finally, we will be able to measure our impact by doing sample tests to see how these affect our community. We could plant demonstration plots of various tree types to see how effective the trees are as windbreaks. This will allow us to show local farmers and landowners the benefits of windbreaks, not only to the environment, but to their businesses as well. As you might recall, windbreaks help to increase crop yield and quality beyond 1.5 times the height of the windbreak, and also help to reduce soil erosion. In conclusion, we want to change the way our community contributes to climate change through the planting of trees. So whether through mass tree plantings, windbreaks, planting in riparian zones, or planting just for the love of trees, anything to increase tree coverage is worthwhile.
With climate change across land and sea, every tree is a good tree.